Hey y'all, this is Ramblin Chris. Today I'm going to show you how to change your front brake pads. Now how do you know your front brake pads need changed? Well, it might be a squealing, or it may be you can look in here and you can see that there's just no pad left on that. All you got left is the metal. According to my manual, when there is 1 millimeter left of brake pad, it is time to change them, and that's definitely just about that. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove your reservoir cover. That way when you push the pistons back in, the fluid has somewhere to go. In this case, there's 2 screws. Loosen those all the way, and you should be able to lift those right out. Bring your gasket with you. And set that aside. Be sure to have a rag handy in case there's any fluid that is dripping over. And remember, all except for DOT5 is corrosive, so you will want to keep that off your paint. Up next, we're going to remove the brake caliper, which takes 12-point 10mm socket. Now make sure you mark which one goes where, because you can see they are 2 different bolts. Next, you're going to need to grab a flathead screwdriver and go ahead and pry open these pistons a little bit just to relieve the pressure. Just going to slip it in there, get it between the brake pad and the rotor, and you're just going to pry outwards. Now I did actually do that off camera. So then once it's loosened, it should just slide straight off for you, just like that. Now with the caliper off, next we're going to take off the brake pads. But before we do that, one very important thing to remember: with it off, do not press your brake lever. That will extend these pistons and it'll make it very hard for you to reopen this again. These actually have pins that they're on, which you have to remove. Got these 2 right here. And on mine, these are once again 12-point, and they are 1/4 inch. There we go. As you can see, those are pretty long-winded. From there, just slide your pads right on out. Now it's time to put on new brake pads. You can see I'm using these Lindell racing pads, which just means that they take more heat. That's really all that's about. I know they're sintered, so I'm going to try these out. They had good reviews online, and I'll let you know what I think about them after I use them for a while. Now, if you paid attention to your old brake pads, you can see the 2 sides are not identical to each other. New pads, you want to make sure match the old pads as far as these shapes here, and you can see they are the same. So as long as you know which is which, it won't be a problem. In my case, that thinner pad, which is this one here, was the inside. So the one that has this bigger tab is inside, the one that has the smaller tab on them are outside. Just remember that. You can install. Now if you need to probably use a part more, the easiest way is to put a new pad in there, one of the old pads in there. That way you can just have some nice thickness in there to pry them apart. I think I am good now though. See here, it's a little bit tight still. Alright, I seem to be good enough to put the pads in. I'm going to definitely have to pry more later to get them back over the disc. But we will worry about that after I get these all lined up. So you're going to go to these holes here where you had the pins through. You're going to insert your pin. On the one side. Repeat that on the other side. Okay, with the pin started, just go ahead and thread them down in. Now we're just about ready to reinstall the caliper. Last thing we need to do is check out our disc. In my case, these have a lot of life left to them, so I'm not replacing them. The thing I am going to do is take a piece of 400 grit sandpaper just to clean them up a little bit. Alright, final step, spray down everything with some brake clean. You should have done the caliper already, which I suppose I should have told you a little earlier in the video. Though I assume you're going to watch this whole thing through before you go and do this yourself. Alright, so just grab brake clean. Clean that disc off. Other side's easier to go to the other side. Alright, time to reinstall. Larger bolt on top, shorter bolt on the bottom. Make sure you have a nice gap in your brake pad so you can slip it over the caliper. Okay, caliper is on. I like to start with the top hole, at least getting the bolt into it because it gets it started. From there, line up the bottom, get that just about tight, spin in the top. Alright, then tighten her down. Now you need to go back up top, clean up any fluid that's spilled, and make sure your levels are still fine. And reinstall it. Don't crank down all the way on one side immediately. Work it in slowly, that way you don't have to worry about tearing the gasket. Alright, she's reinstalled. You can see the circle there is dark, which means that the fluid level is correct. Squeeze your lever a few more times. Alright, we are done here. There's only one thing left to do. Now there's only one thing left to do. Take it for a ride, make sure the brake is working correctly. Now, being centered, these brakes are claimed that they are essentially broken in, but take it a little bit easier on your brakes for about 100 miles. Until they are definitely broken in, and to make sure that you didn't do anything wrong. Until next time, this has been Ramblin' Chris.